Releasing just 1 year after the first game, Dead Trigger 2 would release to generally positive reviews, with people still considering it a worthy sequel while others not so much. Though regardless, the game would still end up racking up millions of downloads. So what happened? Well, to put it simply, the story was never finished, as the last major update would come out in 2018 that introduced a new region, new environments, but no new campaign. So I took it to Reddit to see if I could find some answers, only to come across information I already knew. So I tried Facebook next and did some digging there and was able to find my answer. With a post from 2021 that reads, "The story is concluded in the final mission of the South American campaign. You will continue to unlock the rest of the world areas by upgrading your tech level, but there will be no more story missions." With a reply mentioning they were going to prepare a post to explain their position on that subject, which I was able to find that sadly mentions that they chose to end the campaign to be able to create new games, which we now know is Grey Zone Warfare, which is really unfortunate. But for what is here, why don't we take a look at what Dead Trigger 2's got going on this time around? Starting with the gameplay, which albeit very similar to the first game, has us now taking missions around the globe that range from your typical seek and destroy, sniper missions, defending, looking for supplies, and even some fun ones on the side, like killing zombified chickens, shooting balloons, or even stuffed bunnies, with the arena mode also making a return. Additionally is the game's new type of special infected that include the Kamikaze, Sign Fist, Vomitron, Panzer, and Rager, which upon killing any of them, is there a chance for them to drop a piece of a blueprint that could be tied to a gun, a gadget, or melee weapon, in which we take back to the hideout where we'll be doing most of our crafting and upgrades. But now, let's dive into the story, which takes place 3 months after the first game. We see our beloved main character, Kyle, once again armed with a wrench, walking down a road and spot a man in desperate need for water, who turns out to be infected, but more importantly, we get sight of a massive new creature called the Titan. We make our way out of there, navigating through a passage, clearing out some zombies along the way, and happen to find a woman called Tara, along with eventually gathering the other key members such as Buck the gunsmith, Robert the engineer, and Herman the scientist.
Oh, hello. How's it going?
So with our team established, we head over to Africa with the main goal of resolving the mutation, but also see that the Titan managed to make its way over here as well.
What the hell is this?
Running low on fuel though, we clear the area before landing and make our way to a local hideout housing some generators that need fuel, and learn that the people there are suffering and have no supplies. So we power up a main gate and head out in search of water, only to find none, though in the next mission while protecting an engineer do we learn of a clean water reservoir found nearby. We head on over to the reservoir in search of the leader and eventually find the guy who goes by Thabo. We escort him out the reservoir and later return to open up some water valves to bring in some fresh running water to the whole area. Shortly after, we're sent by the scientists to explore a mine to inspect some toxic barrels and set down devices while returning later to then rig up the area with explosives, since the toxin was actually attracting more zombies and boosting their mutation rates. From there, we take on our last mission in Africa, which has us finally going up against the Titan. Our ammo depletes and we seek out another turret where we ultimately kill off the Titan, with still no answers as to how this creature even came about. But with the campaign in Africa finished and the Titan defeated, we make our way into China and head straight to Shanghai to see if we can find any clues about the virus, which once we arrive and get settled, we happen to encounter a red creature.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And also meet Dr. Adamos.
Thanks for the help.
We escort him to the chopper, protect him while it arrives, and head back to the office to search for additional data, but are not the only ones, and have snipers outside spotting the place. After getting past them, we get to a meeting room to search for some info and head to the server room to collect the data and escape, to later learn that the snipers from earlier were actually hired by some shadow group. In the next mission, we head to the streets to install some toxic dispensers, as Dr. Adamos believes they will attract the red creature we saw from earlier, known as the first one or Zombie Zero. We cover him while he calibrates the dispenser, but as soon as he finishes, the red creature appears, destroys the machine, and flees once again. So we set out to track the first one and easily defeat it, and are briefed that an autopsy will be performed on the creature. So while the scientists perform the autopsy, we defend them for a bit, but suddenly hear a loud explosion and go on to investigate and discover 2 tanks that have plowed through some barricades. We try to return to the scientists to spell them the news, only to hear gunshots coming from that direction. We rush back to find Dr. Adamos on the ground dead, with thankfully Herman still alive, and are briefed that the body of the first one is gone, and can only assume it was taken by the hired mercs from earlier, who if I had to guess are probably these guys called the Black Coats. But with the China campaign over, our next stop is Europe to recover the body of the first one. We end up finding the guy whose name is Eddie and confirms the first one being spotted transported by the Black Coats from earlier. So we head on over to a party at some bank and search for a person called TNT to see if we can find any info on that, which we're initially not allowed in, but after offering some whiskey are we directed right to him.
You're TNT, aren't you?
Oh, yes, indeed I am. And you are?
Name's Kyle. I'm with the Resistance. I'm looking for a big red zombie body.
Okay, Miss Sinister. I've heard some rumors. Suspicious men were seen near Warehouse 224. That's all I know.
This better be good, TNT.
So with the info TNT gave us, we make our way back to Eddie only to find him dead and proceed to Warehouse 224 in search of the first one's body, with no signs of it and probably just got played by TNT. So we locate him once again and chase after him to see if we can just get a little more info out of him, in which we learn that the Black Coats are holding the first one's body at a university. So we head to a university with Herman, clear out some toxins, and end up finding the first one's body along with data on some green gas and a device that can control zombies. We head over to the Black Coats factory to collect a toxic sample, but also encounter 2 clones of the first one along the way. We end up killing both clones, retrieve a sample, and escape, thus completing the Europe campaign, and head to South America to find more clues on how to cure the virus, which the plane we boarded to take us there somehow ends up being infested with zombies and have to clear some cargo weighing down the plane, but just end up finding a parachute and jumping off. Once waking up from the crash, we make our way to the Resistance camp, clear out some zombies, and meet a guy called Ivan, who, without a word, leads us through the camp until it's suddenly overrun by zombies, and get into a car and get briefed that we'll soon head to the Black Coat stronghold, but first have to protect the members from zombies and take down a Black Coat helicopter while we're at it. Next we head to their stronghold and search for isotope ZCS. We locate it, grab a sample, and escape, learning that it'll be crucial for a successful strike on their lab. Once we reach the dam where the lab is hidden, we rig it up with explosives and learn that we have successfully managed to submerge the whole valley underwater while simultaneously neutralizing the Black Coat's base, and that's that. Which, upon completing the campaign, does show us going to Russia, which is where I'm sure the story would have resumed, along with Siberia, the Middle East, Canada, and even Australia. But we now know how unlikely that seems. It just really sucks to see what could have been with this game. But to wrap it up, I want to say thank you for watching till the end, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.